Hello everybody. This lesson will cover place value and how to write a number in expanded form. Place value is not something that is new to a sixth grader. You need to be able to tell me or your teacher the value of each digit within a number. We're going to start with the number 568. And we are going to be writing this number into expanded form, which basically means that we're going to be writing a number to show the value of each digit. We have the number 568 to start with. So let's go ahead and take a look at this number right here, 568. We are going to be telling the value of each digit in this number, and we're going to start with the number on the far left, the 5, the blue number. So we are looking at it, and we can see that it is in the hundreds place, all right? We can remember we have ones, tens, hundreds. We don't have a decimal in this problem. If we did, it would be right here next to the 8. So if we were to write this number in expanded form, we know that the value of this is the hundreds place, right? So how would we write that? We would write it as 5 times 100, which is equal to 500. Then we would move to our next number, the 6. The 6 is in the 10 spot, so we are going to multiply that number by 10. The actual value of that 6 would be 6 times 10, which is 60. And our last number here is our 8, which is in the 1 spot, so we would multiply that by 1. So we would have 8 times 1, which is equal to 8. Now we have found the value of each one of these numbers. The 5 is actually worth 500 here, the 6 is actually worth 60, and the 8 is worth 8. Writing this number into expanded form would be putting all of these things together in a string. And I like to use parentheses to keep them apart. So what I would have is I would have 5 times 100 plus we would have 6 times 10 plus our last number, which is 8 times 1. And if we were to add this together, we would have the same number that we started with. We're just writing it in a different way. So it would be 568. So if your teacher had asked you to write 568 in expanded form or expanded notation, underlined in green here would be what you would need to have down on your paper. And let me correct myself for just a quick moment. You could also simplify this and it would still be in expanded form. So we could rewrite this to actually just be 500 plus 60 plus 8. This would also be an acceptable answer. Now, 568 is a whole number, meaning that there is no decimals there. What's going to happen when we do have a decimal in our problem and we're asked to write something in expanded form again? The next number that we're going to work with is 6 31/100. Just like last time, we would start with the number that is on the far left, and that number is a 6. And since that is in the ones place, we're going to multiply it by 1. So it would be 6 times 1, which is equal to 6. Our next number is 3/10. Now, we have to think about what 3/10 actually means. This is smaller than 0, so we cannot multiply by 1. We have to actually multiply by a decimal. We're going back to the last problem really quickly because I want to make a good point here. When we look at the 5, it was in the hundreds place, right? And we multiply by 100. The 6 was in the tens place, so we multiplied by 10. The 8 was in the ones place, so we multiplied by 1. We're going to apply that same logic to decimals as well. So if we're trying to find the value of the 3 in this number, we're going to see, okay, it's 3 times something. Well, this is the tenths spot. So I'm going to multiply by 1/10. And when I do this, you could pull out your calculator if you need to, but I know that this 3 times 1/10 is going to be equal to 3/10. That is the value of the 3 in this problem. And the final thing that we need to find the value for is this 1 right here. Remember, after our decimal, it's tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So we're in the hundredths spot. So we're going to take 1 times 100th. And that is going to be equal to 1/100th. So let's go ahead and write this in expanded form. We just have to put everything together. We found the value of each one of the numbers. We just have to put it all together in a string, make it an addition problem. So this is 6 times 1 plus 3 times 1/10 plus 1 times 100th. And of course, we did not change the value of this number. We just wrote it a different way. 6 and 31 hundredths. And if we wanted to simplify that, we could do that. We could have 6 plus 3/10 plus 100th. And that's a quick example of how to write a number in expanded form. Remember that you can simplify it, or you could leave it as a multiplication problem.